Hello Nezha enjoyers, I would like to show you a build using Jade Stars that I have grown to love. It's a really comfortable, very easy to play Nezha nuke build where we of course utilize Divine Retribution like all Nezha builds. And then we'll use the Jade Stars helmet ability to create like a semi-automatic nuke setup. So let's start by understanding the important abilities. To start off, let's get the most important one out of the way first. Divine Spears with the Divine Retribution augment. Divine Spears impales all enemies in a radius scaling with range, dealing a tiny bit of damage. Reactivating the ability or letting the timer run out will slam all impaled enemies on the floor, also dealing a tiny bit of damage. The ability on its own is kinda ass, but when you slap on the augment it becomes insane. The augment Divine Retribution spreads status effects to all impaled enemies. This means if I impale all of these guys and inflict heat on this one guy, all of the impaled enemies gets hit with the heat proc. When you reactivate the ability or let the timer run out, it will multiply the remaining heat, toxin and slash status effects by 1.5x at base and deal it all in one instance. This multiplier scales with strength. The augment has a base range of 14 meters, scaling with range. This augment is the foundation of almost all Nezha nuke builds, you've probably already heard of it, and it allows for some pretty crazy damage numbers very easily. This pairs beautifully with Jade Stars. Activating Jade Stars will spawn these stars above you that seek out the enemies you hit. When they hit the enemy, they'll deal damage and inflict heat. Additionally, they explode in quite a small radius that scales with the range and inflict heat to the enemies that are hit by the explosion. Now the synergy here is very straightforward. Divine Spears with the augment will impale all enemies and deal damage. Jade Stars will seek out the enemies you've impaled and explode on them, inflicting heat. This heat will spread to all other impaled enemies. The enemies that are close to the explosion of the Jade Stars will also get hit with heat, spreading it to everyone else, etc, etc. If you are versing very grouped enemies, this alone will be enough to nuke them with the build I'm going to show you most of the time. If they're not super bundled up, you might need to use your second ability, Blazing Chakram, but you'll most likely be doing that anyway. Blazing Chakram throws a glaive that inflicts heat and applies damage vulnerability to enemies, scaling with strength. Enemies hit by the Blazing Chakram will have a 100% chance to drop a health orb and a 35% chance to drop an energy orb. Blazing Chakram also throws around the Jade Stars, meaning if the Divine Spears on its own didn't nuke them all, Blazing Chakram most definitely will. On to the build itself. Remember, you can change this up however you like to your preferences. This is just what I prefer. Don't listen to the propaganda out there. There is no right or wrong answer. Do what you enjoy. Anyway, for the aura, I use Corrosive Projection to remove 18% armor from all enemies, which is nice. It pairs nicely with the heat that is gonna remove even more armor. In the X list, I use Controlled Slide to disable his passive because I hate it, and increase our ability strength by 15%. Then I use Adaptation for another layer of damage reduction, pairs nicely with the 3 and the armor. Then I have Archon Vitality to double our heat procs. You know, this build is all about heat, so more heat procs equals more damage, equals more dopamine. Then for strength mods, I have Intensify, Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude. Strength is really nice because it increases the multiplier on Divine Retribution, increases the status chance and damage of the Jade Stars, and the damage vulnerability and damage from Blazing Chakram. For range, I have Overextended, which is gonna allow our Divine Spears to impale even more enemies, and it increases the explosion radius of our Jade Stars so they can hit more people. Equilibrium will be our energy sustain, since Blazing Chakram guarantees health orbs. Equilibrium will convert those to energy, which will give us infinite energy, essentially. And then I of course have Divine Retribution, which is mandatory for this build. For the Arcanes, I am using Mold Augmented for 60% strength. Then I am using Arcane Guardian for armor. which is going to be another layer on top of adaptation and a warding halo, which is just adding to the comfortability of this build. Another good option instead of Arcane Guardian would be Arcane Aegis, which I've personally find to be a bit inconsistent. That's why I went with Arcane Guardian, since we have Arcane Vitality anyway. Armor makes sense to me, but you definitely can use Arcane Aegis as well. A really fun weapon and great synergy with this build is the Halvu with a viral Tau spreading build. This will also vastly increase the amount of heat procs due to spreading Tau everywhere, and also increase damage from viral. With Divine Retribution, you will inflict 10 Tau stacks and 10 viral stacks on everyone in an instant. There is a bug though. When enemies are impaled by Nezha's 4, they can't be hit by Jade Stars from weapons. They just shoot over their heads. Unless they're close to a wall or like the stars hit something behind them, it doesn't hit them. It flies right over their head. I don't know what the fuck this is. It would be so fun if we could use Halvu's burst mode and just spread Jade Stars with the Halvu while also spreading Tau and viral. Yeah, I would love to see this fixed. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it is what it is. It still works great with the viral and Tau spreading. Yeah, anyway, that's my build. Take care. See ya.